What Roberto Martinez is doing with Portugal is not normal.
Vitinha tossed in, Ronaldo!
They're not just winning, they're doing it with defensive strength, a dynamic attack, and one of the scariest squads in Europe. They dominate, score goals for fun, and go head-to-head with the best national teams on the continent. One thing is now clear about this team: talent alone isn't enough. You have to be ruthless. And that's exactly what Roberto Martinez has done with Portugal. So what makes Portugal the most terrifying team in Europe? When Roberto Martinez became the coach of Portugal, many fans were skeptical. A Spanish coach for a national team packed with Portuguese talent, and a coach whose time with Belgium's golden generation ended in disappointment? The doubts were understandable, but no one expected what came next. Portugal became a football machine, aggressive, attacking, and feared all over Europe. In just a few months, everything changed. During the Euro 2024 qualifiers, Portugal didn't just win, they crushed everyone. Big wins like 5-0 against Bosnia and a brutal 9-0 over Luxembourg were just the beginning. No team scored more in qualifying, 36 goals. Yes, more than France with Mbappe. It wasn't just about winning, it was about sending a message. Portugal didn't want to go unnoticed. They wanted to dominate. Some critics said the rivals weren't top tier, but when the Euro arrived, Portugal proved they were ready. They beat Czechia 2-1.
Vitinha.
They destroyed Turkey 3-0, and even though they lost to France in the quarter-finals on penalties, the message was clear. This Portugal is built for big games. They've grown tactically and mentally. It's not just about individual stars anymore, it's about structure, identity, and ambition. And if anyone still had doubts, the 2025 Nations League changed everything. Portugal faced the giants of Europe. They beat Croatia. They eliminated Denmark.
Trying to find a way past McLean, and he has Ronaldo's header!
They took down Germany, a Euro semi-finalist.
And then it was Ronaldo time.
Then came the big final against Spain, and many thought it would be a Spanish celebration.
This is Nico Williams, this is going to get worse for France!
But Martinez's tactics flipped the game. Even though Portugal likes to keep possession, they've become flexible. They can switch to counter-attacks in a flash, and that's how they destroyed Spain. They crushed the favourites and lifted the trophy. Now, no one questions Roberto Martinez anymore. He's gone from a risky choice to a tactical genius. He's built a vertical, dangerous team, full of weapons in attack, strong in defence. This isn't just Ronaldo's team anymore. It's a team of stars playing in perfect harmony. And now with the Euros in the past and the Nations League trophy in their hands, the next target is clear: the 2026 World Cup. And this time Portugal doesn't just want to compete, they want to be the favourites. For years, Portugal had been a sleeping giant. They had the names, the talent, but lacked something essential: a modern playing identity suited to 21st century football. Fernando Santos will go down in history as the man who made the impossible dreams come true, winning Euro 2016 in France with a team that played more with heart than possession, and later conquering the 2019 Nations League, bringing the country's first 2 major titles. But his defensive approach eventually became outdated, unable to match the level of emerging Portuguese stars across the new generation. This became clear in the big tournaments: eliminated in the round of 16 in Russia 2018, again in the round of 16 at Euro 2020, and knocked out in the quarterfinals at Qatar 2022 by Morocco. A World Cup where the general feeling was that Portugal could have done more, but didn't dare to. The Fernando Santos era ended amidst both criticism and nostalgia. He had achieved the unthinkable, but now the country was demanding something more, attacking football, spectacle, and evolution. Then in 2023, the unexpected happened. The Portuguese Federation made a bold move by appointing a foreign coach for the first time. Roberto Martinez, a Spaniard and former Belgium national team coach, was chosen to lead a new era. His arrival was met with skepticism, but also hope, because Martinez brought something Portugal urgently needed: a fresh, attacking, ambitious vision, to believe without seeing, to trust before judging. That was the mindset that turned doubts into excitement. The impact was immediate. In his first big test, the Euro 2024 qualifiers, Portugal didn't just deliver, they destroyed. 10 matches, 10 wins, 36 goals scored, just 2 conceded. The best qualifying campaign in Portuguese history. A lethal blend of youth and experience, with Martinez trusting veterans like Pipe and Cristiano Ronaldo as leaders, but surrounding them with fearless young blood: Vitinha, Gonçalo Ramos, João Neves, Antonio Silva, Nuno Mendes, Pedro Porro. A new generation unafraid of the spotlight. 2 years. That's all it took for Roberto Martinez to completely transform the Portuguese national team. His first match was on March 23rd, 2023, a 4-0 win against Liechtenstein, marking the start of a new era. But few could have imagined what would come next. That game was just the first step in a historic Euro 2024 qualifying run. 10 matches, 10 wins, 36 goals scored, and only 2 conceded. Portugal didn't just qualify, they crushed everyone. That streak wasn't a lucky break. It was the foundation of a solid, modern, and ambitious structure. Since then, Roberto Martinez's numbers speak for themselves. 30 games coached, 22 wins, 4 draws, and only 4 losses. With just 2 of those in official matches, the team wasn't just winning, they were convincing. They played well, dominated, and won big. And it didn't matter the tournament, they always finished first in their Euro qualifying group, then top of their group at the tournament itself, easily beating Czechia, Georgia and Turkey. After that, they topped their Nations League group, ahead of teams like Croatia and Denmark. Portuguese dominance became routine, 0 losses in group stages, a team that knew how to dictate terms no matter the rival or the stage. Even when things got tough, like in the Nations League quarterfinals where they lost 1-0 to Denmark in the first leg, their response was that of champions. In the second leg, Portugal unleashed a storm, 5-2, with aggressive, electric, attacking football. Martinez proved this team can suffer, but more importantly, they know how to fight back. That's how they reached the final, where they faced and beat European champions Spain to lift the first title of the Martinez era. He hasn't just revolutionised Portugal's playing style, he's rewritten their history books. With a 73.1% win rate, Roberto Martinez now surpasses legends like Humberto Coelho, 66.7%, and Otto Gloria, 63.3%. His team averages 2.58 goals per game, the highest scoring average in Portuguese managerial history. They racked up 11 straight wins, even surpassing Scolari, and his loss percentage is the lowest ever, just 11.5%. Not even Artur Jorge or Jose Augusto achieved this level of consistency. That's when everything changed. Portugal stopped being a team with potential and became a ruthless reality. No longer a promise, now a powerhouse, with an attacking style, a clear identity, and perfect balance between youth and experience. And now, with a new trophy on the shelf, the whole world is finally taking them seriously. What's truly making the difference in this new Portugal isn't just the style, it's the depth. Never before has the country had such a rich, resourceful squad, so tactically flexible, so brutally prepared to play in multiple ways. Under Fernando Santos, everything depended on a flash of brilliance, from Cristiano an isolated counter-attack or a deep defensive block. Now, Portugal is a moving offensive symphony. The most impressive thing about this version of the team is how many solutions it has across every line of the pitch. With Santos, the goal was not to lose. With Martinez, it's to tear opponents apart from the very first minute. The old rigid 4-4-2 has been replaced by a much more fluid 4-3-3, which morphs depending on the game state. It can shift into a 3-2-5, a 3-4-3, or even an asymmetric diamond with 5 midfielders. None of this is improvisation, it's pure tactical intent. Martinez has brought Portugal fully into modern tactical football. One of his signature ideas is the use of the inverted fullback, a player who defends as a normal fullback, but steps into midfield in possession, creating a midfield line of 4. That gives players like Cancelo, Dalot, or Semedo freedom to push high, linking with Bernardo Silva, Vitinha, Juan Neves, or Bruno Fernandes, freeing up space for the wingers and relieving Cristiano Ronaldo from dropping deep to build attacks. In some phases, even the holding midfielder, usually Palhinha or Ruben Neves, drops between the centre-backs and along with the goalkeeper to form a diamond base in the build-up. Meanwhile, the full-backs push high and wide like traditional wing-backs. That gives Portugal a clean, secure and numerically superior way out of high-pressure situations. When teams sit deep, the interior midfielders no longer drop back to receive like they used to. The inverted full-backs keep the structure intact, while players like Bruno and Vitinha stay high, ready to break lines or shoot from distance. It's a living system, constantly shifting, creating rotational triangles between wing-backs and midfielders, generating chaos in the opponent's marking schemes, and space for Ronaldo or wingers like Rafael Leao and Pedro Neto to attack. And yes, such a daring system can be exposed on the break, but Portugal has the players to cope. Ruben Dias, Antonio Silva, and Gonçalo Inácio are aggressive, fast and technically skilled defenders who can recover quickly. And then there's Nuno Mendes, one of the best fullbacks in the world today. His athleticism allows him to be a defender and winger in one. In the Nations League final, he completely shut down Lamine Yamal, nullifying him defensively and scoring the opening goal himself. In this system, the interior midfielders have wings. Vitinha, Bruno and Bernardo Silva move like pendulums, switching roles, creating passing lanes. Meanwhile, Leão, or Neto, pull defenders wide and burst into space. And Cristiano, he is the beacon in the box. He no longer has to create. His job is to finish, to position himself, drag defenders, and strike. And in that role, with a whole team built around him, Ronaldo has become lethal once more. And at the centre of this revolution, right at the heart of Portugal's rebirth, is still him, Cristiano Ronaldo. At 40 years old, many expected his influence to fade, but under Roberto Martinez, CR7 has been rescued from the shadows and returned to where he belongs, on top. And it's not about nostalgia or marketing, it's pure performance, surgical efficiency, the same killer instinct as always, this time with the perfect system around him. Because yes, we all remember. In Qatar 2022, Fernando Santos benched him for the round of 16 match against Switzerland. Portugal won 6-1. The media narrative made it seem like the end of an era. But in the quarterfinals against Morocco, when Portugal needed character and finishing power, Santos benched him again. He gave Cristiano just 30 minutes. Portugal was eliminated. Cristiano, in tears, was devastated. He left the field like it was his last dance. It was a heartbreaking moment, but not the end. It was the turning point. From the moment Roberto Martinez took over, Cristiano became lethal again. Not as a playmaker, but as a clinical finisher, like a Haaland with history. A penalty box predator who doesn't need 50 touches. 1 or 2 are enough. His new version is all about fewer touches, more impact, less effort, more precision. In the Nations League final against Spain, he touched the ball only 22 times in 88 minutes, but it was enough to unsettle the entire defence. His presence alone, it gains him as a target and threat, opens space for others. The numbers don't lie. Cristiano has never scored so much in so little time with Portugal. 20 goals in 23 matches under Martinez, an average of 0.86 goals per game, higher than with any previous coach. Roberto Martinez, 20 goals in 23 matches, 0.86 per game. Fernando Santos, 68 in 180, 109 to 0.62. Paulo Bento, 27 in 47 to 0.57. Scolari, 21 in 74, 0.28. Carlos Queiroz, 2 in 28, 0.07. Cristiano is no longer the winger who beat defenders with pace, or the all-around leader in every area of the pitch. But now he's a vital part, the final cannon in an unstoppable army. And the difference is, this time he's not alone. He's surrounded by a golden generation that feeds him, understands him, respects him. Martinez has given him more than continuity. He's given him context, freedom, and above all, trust. He's helped Cristiano understand that his role has changed, but his impact can still be massive. That's why he's still there. That's why he's still scoring. That's why at 40, Cristiano can still dream, and make others dream, of winning the biggest title of all. But it's also true that his stamina isn't the same. Even legends have physical limits, and that's why Portugal is already preparing the next in line. There are names ready to take on the pressure, to carry the goal-scoring load when the number 7 is no longer on the pitch. First in line is Gonçalo Ramos. The PSG striker is everything you want in a modern number 9. Strong, smart, and versatile. Right-footed but skilled enough with his left to be unpredictable. Ramos moves with predator instinct inside the box, lethal with first touches, and has a unique ability to spin, beat the nearest defender, and finish. Under Luis Enrique in Paris, he's been a constant threat off the bench. 18 goals and 6 assists in 42 games, without being a regular starter. His role isn't to replace Cristiano, but to absorb the best from him and keep the threat alive whenever he steps on the pitch. Next to him, there's another powerful wildcard, Diogo Jota. He's had injury struggles this season, scoring 9 goals and adding 4 assists in 32 matches. Again, mostly as a sub. The Liverpool forward has one major weapon, unpredictability. His dribbling speed and ability to go inside or outside make him deadly when there's space ahead. Jota is lethal on counter-attacks, turning defence into offence in a flash. But his value doesn't stop there. At Anfield, he's proven himself a team player, able to play left wing, false 9, or drop deep to link with midfielders. Versatility and grit. Both Ramos and Jota are the natural heirs to CR7. They don't replace his image or media weight, but they do take over what really matters: goals, movement, and danger. They're the ones who step in when El Bicho can't go on any longer. But Portugal's threat isn't just in the centre of attack. The wings are a nightmare too. Take Rafael Leão, for example. He's been an eternal promise. His talent is undeniable. 12 goals and 13 assists for a chaotic AC Milan, blazing speed, the ability to beat anyone one-on-one, and that 1.90 metre frame that makes him a rare, almost unstoppable kind of winger. And yet, the criticism hasn't stopped. He's often called inconsistent, accused of zoning out mid-game, of following up moments of brilliance with long spells of silence. It's like he has too much talent but not enough fire, at least not yet. That's why Roberto Martinez has looked for alternatives, and he's found them. One of them is Pedro Neto, Chelsea's recent signing, a similar profile to Leão but more direct, more tactically disciplined, and more versatile. He can play on either wing or even as a centre forward. This season with the Blues, he scored 7 goals and delivered 9 assists. He's got pace, power, and a mid-range shot that makes him a constant threat. His ability to stretch defences and thread passes between lines lets him cause damage without needing to dominate the whole match. Neto might not be the flashiest, but he's the most reliable when Leão fails to show up. And if Portugal needs something more visceral, more chaotic, then there's the man of the moment, Francisco Conceição. At just 22, the Juventus winger is a storm down the line. Short, electric, fearless. His changes of direction evoke prime hazard. His short strides, his fearless dribbling, his lethal left foot, all make him a nightmare for defenders. He scored a stunning goal against Germany in the Nations League, but his problem isn't technical, it's emotional. His temper betrays him, he sometimes loses control, and Martinez knows it. He's not ready yet to take on a central role. For now, he's a secret weapon off the bench. A wild card who can win you a match, but who's still growing. We also have to mention Francisco Trincão, the former Barca man, once thought to be lost, has returned to form at Sporting. With 11 goals and 25 assists, he's been one of the best right wingers in the Portuguese league. He regained confidence, found consistency, and is now a legitimate option on the right, offering dribbling, long-range shooting, and the kind of pace that allows him to beat defenders with ease. Roberto Martinez has a good problem on his hands. Too many attacking options. From centre-forwards to wingers, Portugal has every position covered. Portugal's midfield is just insane when it comes to tactical variations. They currently have the best midfield in the world in terms of quality, depth, and performance. It's not just about talent, it's about intelligence, reading the game, and sheer technical brilliance. And at the heart of it all is Vitinha. Vitinha doesn't speed up the game by running faster. He does it by thinking faster than everyone else. He's a metronome who knows when to pause and when to go vertical, depending on what the team needs. His ability to turn in tight spaces, receive with his back to goal, and thread impossible passes between lines is almost surgical. He doesn't need long strides or the spotlight. He's pure efficiency, the silent connector between defence and attack. When the match breaks down, he puts it back together. When the rhythm is lost, he finds it again. Next to him, Bernardo Silva is modern football's most luxurious wildcard. He can play as a central midfielder, winger, false nine, or deep-lying playmaker. His tactical awareness is off the charts. He presses, recovers, links play, and creates danger. At Guardiola's City, he refined his positional play, but with Portugal, he's unshackled. He floats, overloads zones, and slices defences open with surgical precision. His knack for showing up in dangerous areas undetected makes him a constant threat. Then there's João Neves, the engine of the machine. He's only 19, yet he plays with the maturity of a veteran. He's been deployed as a pivot, an interior, a fullback, even a wingback. It doesn't matter. Neves reads the game with astonishing maturity. He moves between lines, leads the press, and manipulates space effortlessly. He's small but explosive, with a low centre of gravity that lets him glide through pressure. When he touches the ball, the tempo rises. His energy isn't chaotic, it's musical. And best of all, he leads without fear, a captain in the making. This orchestra is completed by the man with the killer final ball, Bruno Fernandes, a devastating attacking midfielder. He breaks lines, arrives late in the box, assists, scores, and brings chaos to structured defences. He ended the season with 19 goals and 19 assists, a ridiculous number for someone in his position. He can dribble, shoot from range, split defences with passes, and has a competitive hunger that infects everyone around him. He's the most vertical of the four, and his presence guarantees two things: danger and goals. And as if a world-class attack and elite midfield weren't enough, Portugal has built a defensive wall that seems impenetrable. At the heart of it is Ruben Dias, commanding, intelligent and physically dominant. He's the quiet leader who organises, anticipates and drags his teammates into battle. Next to him, the younger generation is no longer just promising, it's already delivering. Antonio Silva and Gonçalo Inácio haven't just learned from the best, they've stepped up at international level from day one. All three are around 6 feet 3 inches, dominate the air, are aggressive markers but elegant in possession. They don't just clear the ball, they turn it into a weapon. On the ball, they're practically midfielders. They defend like warriors, and read transitions like they're happening in slow motion. And most importantly, they rarely make mistakes. But where Roberto Martinez's system truly becomes lethal is on the flanks. Diogo Dalot is quick, versatile, defensively solid, and dangerous going forward. He can play on either side, combine inside, or attack the width. And if he's not on the pitch, João Cancelo is. A player with exquisite technique, elite vision, and the heart of a winger. His ability to invert into midfield, overlap on the outside, or shoot and cross with either foot makes him a threat from any angle, and yet neither of them is Portugal's current defensive crown jewel. That honour goes to Nuno Mendes. What Nuno did in the Nations League final was nothing short of a physical and technical masterpiece. He completely shut down Lamine Yamal, Spain's wonder kid, denying him any impactful moments. Mendes went the full 120 minutes at full throttle, attacking like a winger and defending like a centre-back. He scored the equaliser, won 7 of 10 ground duels, made 3 clean tackles and 2 crucial interceptions. That's why he was named MVP of both the final and the tournament. At PSG, there's no more debate. Nuno Mendes is currently the best left-back in the world. And behind all of them stands a towering guardian who's no longer just a promise but one of the top goalkeepers on the planet, Diogo Costa. At only 25 years old, he has turned Portugal's goal into an impenetrable wall. At Porto, he saved 76% of clear chances, conceded just 20 goals in the league, and has become a penalty specialist. Safe between the posts, brave in one-on-ones, and calm when coming out, he is the ideal goalkeeper for a champion team. Roberto Martinez's path hasn't been perfect. There were stumbles, painful defeats, the loss to France in the Euro quarter-finals, the battles lost in key moments of the Nations League, moments when the project seemed shaky. But even in defeat, this team showed something others didn't: personality, resilience, and a clear idea. Portugal finally has a defined identity. It's no longer just a collection of brilliant talents. It's a real team, one with energy, ambition, and a modern, versatile system designed to attack with aggression and defend with intelligence. This generation has reached a level of depth and quality that can only be compared, and perhaps even surpass, the legendary Portugal of 2004. That team with Figo, Rui Costa, Deco, Pauleta lost the Euro at home. This Portugal has already won the Nations League, and they won't settle for less. They're aiming for the World Cup, and not as outsiders, but as serious contenders. Cristiano Ronaldo at 40 years old is still here, not because he's untouchable, but because he's still decisive. Because now he's surrounded by the best version of his country: Bernardo, Bruno, Vitinha, João Neves, Nuno Mendes, Gonçalo Inácio, Diogo Costa, a golden elite that doesn't envy any historical powerhouse. But if there's one lesson Portugal has learned since the year 2000, it's this: talent alone isn't enough. You can have the stars, dominate the stats, and play beautiful football, but only cohesion, discipline, and a winning mindset can lead you to glory. And now, more than ever, they are ready. Portugal heads into the 2026 World Cup with its most complete, mature, and dangerous team ever. There are no guarantees, but one thing is certain: this generation won't let their chance slip away without fighting until the very last second. The clock is ticking, history is waiting, and the world finally is watching them with respect. Make no mistake, Portugal is no longer an eternal promise. Now they are a real threat.